Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new F1 Esports video. This is round number 2, around Austria. As you can see, we're heading out for our first Q1 run. Last time out in Jeddah we didn't have a great result, only P7 and only bringing home 6 points, so that's not ideal for the championship. We're sitting on 24 points at the moment. Freddie Rasmussen of course ahead of us on 26 points. I think Thomas ahead of us on around 40 points, could be slightly more actually. But yeah, we need to try and get a good result here. Now Austria, not my strongest track on this game. I, of course with 6 tracks, kind of sacrificed this one a little bit, because I felt like qualifying was going to be less important around here. Usually Austria is a really chaotic race, and that's why I decided to focus more on tracks like Zandvoort, Texas, and yeah, Spa for example. All tracks that in a DRS train it's very hard to overtake. Unlike this one, where overtaking is very much possible. So yeah, this is probably going to be our hardest one of the lot, due to the fact that I've put the least amount of practice into this one. But at the same time I put a lot of practice into Jeddah and that didn't go too well. So we're going to have to wait and see how it goes. Just warming up the tires before we start our Q1 run. The good old brake dragging on this game. With both Red Bull behind. Ola Zilberdim goes for a moment to provisional P1. Then it's Alfie Butcher. Then it's Thomas Ronna going only 1,000th of a second faster than Alfie Butcher. And now we are going to start our lap, putting it in the right engine mode, putting it in the right ERS deployment, and we're going to open DRS across the line into turn 1. 55 brake bites, 55 on throttle differential, and out to 4th gear. Trying to get some good rotation, didn't though. Lots of understeer there, maybe a little bit too aggressive on the front tires, and yeah, they just couldn't quite live with it. Into turn 3 we go. 26.046, which is not a great first sector, but that was obviously due to the understeer we picked up mid-corner. As we head down the hill, braking at around 75 meters, down to 4th gear, and then mid-corner down to 3rd gear to get some extra rotation down there. 54 brake bites and 50 on throttle diff for the high-speed part to get some extra rotation. 44.271 split, which is going to come down to around a 0.1 lap time, which is going to be the same as Thomas Ronna and Alfie Butcher did of course, but it all depends on these final 2 corners. A little bit of a moment through there, and quite a clean last corner, so not a great last sector, not a bad last sector. It's at 103.258, and that only puts the speed 10. So we're gonna have to go again here in Q1 and improve. Josh Domo goes to provisional P1 with a 1-2, and that's only 1.3 tenths faster than us, but that's the difference between P14 and P1 on this track. And yeah, we've already gained that just in turn 1. Much better turn 1 that time around, but we're gonna have to hook up the rest of the lap as well of course. So lost a bit of time on the entry there, but managed to gain it back on the exit by keeping that momentum, getting early on throttle. Downhill we go again. We are down in P14, and that means we are gonna have to improve on our previous lap, but at the same time we don't have to take a lot of risk, because 1/10 is gonna be like 10-11 positions on a track like this. Freddie Rasmussen goes to provisional P1 with a 103.03, which is 2 tenths faster than our lap, and we're only 1/10 up at the moment. P15 we are, and we're gonna drop to P16 in a moment. There it is, down to P16, but we hook up the last corner, and it's a 1.710 improvement, which puts us P3 on the grid with a purple first sector, and it's more than enough to get into Q2 of course. So hooked it up quite nicely. Ismail Fassi, Simon Weigang, John Evans and Ruben Pedreno and Philip Regenator out in Q1. Now Philip, I think, got quite a late call up for this event, so yeah, he was a bit unfortunate. He couldn't practice more, and yeah, he has to take a lot of risk just to try and get into Q2 for example, with how little practice he had for this event. As we did our banker lap there on used tires, this is our first lap on new tires. You can see we only improved 100, a little bit more coming out of the final corner, 1.2 tenths up, and it only puts us P7, and yeah, we're gonna have to improve on that for sure. There's only a 1/10 improvement relative to all tires. It's not a great lap, of course. We were P3 on the used tires, and only P9 after everyone was done on the first one on these tires, so we're gonna have to take some risk here and improve, otherwise we're gonna be out in Q2. Into turn 1 we go, down to 4th gear. A little bit of a moment on the exit, lots of wheel spin, but we actually gain time through there. Just by being so on the limit. Not very clean, but we're gonna have to try and hook up the rest of the lap nicely. Half a 10 up, 600s up as we exit turn 3. It's been a quite decent improvement so far. If we just can keep going like this, it's gonna be enough to get into Q3 for sure. To the next right-hander we go. No time gain, unfortunately. Actually lost a few thousandths of a second into the high-speed part we go. A little bit lower on brake bias than in Q1, as you can see, and that's just because the track tends to get more understeery as the session moves on. So into the last sector we go, 700s up. Let's see if we can gain some more time to the final 2 corners actually, because I think we will need it. To the final corner we go, a little bit of understeer. We run out wide, unfortunately, and invalidated our lap, and that means we're out in Q2 again. For the second time in a row, we're going to be starting the race from P12 on the grid, and as you can see, that 700 improvement would have been enough, but yeah, I don't think I even was pushing, to be honest. I just picked up understeer, and yeah, once you pick up understeer on this game, you just run off wide, and I just, yeah, you can't really correct it, of course, if you get understeer. So yeah, no ideal. Out in Q2 we go. With that invalidation, and again a poor qualifying, but if there's a track where you can make up loads of positions, it's this one. 3 DRS zones, usually quite a chaotic race with lots of people picking up damage to the back, bunching up that much with those 3 DRS zones. So yeah, no ideal. Freddie Rasmussen, as you can see there, in P1, Lucas Blakely P2. Q3, however, Thomas Ronner got pole position ahead of Barry Borman, Freddie Rasmussen, Jed Norgrove, Josh Idowu in P5, Nicolas Longe P6, our teammate Jake Benham in P7, Brendan Lee P8, and Ulas Ozilder in P9. Lucas Blakely are slower than in Q2 and down in P10. So yeah, that's what I was talking about last video as well on Jeddah. If you just make one small mistake in a crucial lap, that's it. On this level, you're going to be down the order, and yeah, it's not going to be very ideal. We had the same again now, and as you can see, going on to the race, they're predicting rain late on into the race. The last 2 slots are wet weather, and that's why we're going for a soft medium strategy, and that's a risky one. This is a risky one, soft medium, because the softs are not ideal, but I just want to get track position early on. Then we can box early and hope that the rain falls early on in this race. We get a great start off the line. Into turn 1 we're gonna go. We're gonna send it down the inside of 2 cars, but that was too risky and we had to back out. Not a great move by me there, as we yeah, still actually gained a position. We're side by side with Wilson at the moment, but we're gonna get that position into the next right-hander down the inside. We actually got 3 wide there for a moment, had to be careful. As Wilson, I think, tapped my rear slightly there. Just got me hooked up a little bit and slowed me down a lot on the apex. And yeah, now we are still going side by side with Wilson actually after 4 corners, but we finally get a move done and actually stay in P12. I think Alfie got past us somehow, because Alfie was starting P13, so at some point he must have gotten past us, and we're gonna try and re-overtake him. We've used quite a bit of our battery already though, and that's no ideal. But we're gonna have the tire advantage for the next few laps. And yeah, I've kind of betted here on the rain falling at the end of the race. Risky one, of course, but if it works, it will pay off. Because if we move to the intermediates when we got lots of track positions, it doesn't matter anymore if our tires drop off or fall off the cliff, because then we can box for intermediates. That's kind of the plan I'm aiming for at the moment. At the same time, if the rain doesn't come in time, we can still recover this strategy. It's not the end of the world. This can still work really well. So Out of turn 3 we go, up to...
No threat of rain for the time being, conditions look good. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Up to P11 we go. And yeah, not a great start on softs. I was kind of hoping we could have gained more in these opening few laps, but I made a risky move in turn 1 and it just kind of killed my momentum a little bit, because if you can remember, we went down the inside of Lucas Blakely, who was in P8, so him being on the mediums or the hards as well, we should be further up the grid than that, but that was just a poor move by me. And yeah, it just costed me 4 or 5 positions at this point in the race. So yeah, we're gonna have to get on with it. DRS enabled, cooling the engine a little bit there into turn 1. DRS enabled, and we're gonna try and go for another move, this time on Ulas Ozildirim. He's on the hards as well. Yeah, we just have to use so much of our battery all the time. As we go down the inside of Brandon Leader, actually, it leaves us the space. I did not even really want to go for a move there, but it was just because I had to overtake Ulas. If I stayed behind, then I would probably not have gotten past, and now we go down the inside of Brandon again. Us being on the softs, obviously having the tires on this. Lucas on the softs as well, on the medium, sorry. Still thinking about the old tire compounds where the yellow sidewall was the softs. But yeah, purple first sector there, obviously with the help of using all that battery. And yeah, now we're gonna have to recharge our battery in the next few laps, because our tires are not gonna have a huge advantage to Lucas anymore anyway. And yeah, we need to start saving our battery for when we hit the cliff. We set the fast lap of the race, 106.154. And yeah, as I said, just gonna stay behind Lucas here into turn 3. He's actually using a bit of a battery, I think so. Might be just running lower wings. I have gone for slightly higher wings. Not a rain setup, but slightly higher wings. Just, yeah, as I said, I've kind of bet on the rain here. This being a track I didn't practice a lot for, I felt like it was the time to take some more risk, because I've actually had to avoid running into the back of Lucas there. I really early on realized I was not gonna make that, and I had to steer off the track in order not to run into the back of him. So yeah, a bit of incident avoidance there, but I expect more people to do this. You can already see actually out of turn 4 at the moment there's 3 people going, and I reckon all of those people have had wing damage as well. So yeah, probably for similar reasons, the back just bunches up so much in these tight corners after a DRS rate. As Brandon goes to the move, I decided to just let him go, because yeah, we're gonna be on worse tires in the next few laps. We have hit the cliff. The hards have not hit the cliff yet, so didn't even realize he was going for a move until very late on. Brandon is straight away going on the attack on Lucas Blakely as well. Lucas is not letting him go that easy, and they're just gonna go side by side up into the middle sector. Brandon having another little loop, but can't quite make it work. Softs obviously being C5, they do tend to fall off quite quickly, and there are a lot of high-speed corners here, so that doesn't help the tire as well. At the same time, they are quite short laps, so you can do relatively quite a lot of laps on them. Ulas going for a move on us, and we still haven't quite recovered the ERS because we're running those higher wings relative to the rest of the grid, as Ulas moves really late on the braking, almost running into the back of him. And now we've got Alfie around or outside going for the move. Ismail behind us now on the mediums. His tires are obviously going to be less good relative to the hards. Maybe not yet actually, but relatively to us it's going to get closer and closer as Ismail now goes for the move into the next left-hander. Didn't quite want to let him go there, because that was just going to cost us a lot of time. But yeah, we still had a lot more grip. Wilson, huge up next, and then Alvaro Carreton, and then there's a huge gap from P15 to the rest of the grid. Like, quite a lot of people with damage. But yeah, we've already started on soft, and we've lost the position relative to our start, so there's been a terrible start to our race. At the same time, we took a lot of risk with the strategy, with the setup, because this was a race to pull off the risk, if there was going to be any. As Wilson goes down our inside here into turn 3. A little bit defensive, don't quite want to let him go. is moving a little bit. And I felt like, yeah, it was a time to defend. This would be the one, because if I lose another 2 positions, I'm at the back of the train anyway, and there's not, yeah, a lot of, it doesn't matter a lot if we've run out of ERS at that point, because we can just stay at the back and recharge our battery. So, it doesn't matter if we run out of battery at that point. We can just recharge, do a few extra laps on those softs, and then box with a recharged battery, or we can stay out of Wilson and then box anyway. And yeah, if you make a pit stop, you recharge quite a bit of your battery anyway, like 20-30% usually, depending on the track. But yeah, at the moment struggling a little bit to keep up with everyone. Even though the softs, I reckon, maybe are not the best tire choice here. Was maybe not the right choice anyway. Even going for quite an aggressive strategy, it was not the right call. The softs are probably just quite poor around here, but yeah, as I said, we have to make these decisions really quick. We have to load in our setup, look at the weather, decide strategy, then decide strategy based on the weather, change your setup based on the strategy and the weather. And yeah, you only have 90 seconds to do all of that. Select your fuel as well, look at what other people are starting on tire-wise. And yeah, only 90 seconds for all of that is not a lot. And sometimes you make the right call, sometimes you make the wrong one. And I think perhaps we made the wrong one this race, but nonetheless, we are still P13 after 11 laps. It's not like we've crashed out of the race, we lost our front wing. We're still going strong, so yeah. First persons have boxed, I think so, as we moved up to P12 there for a brief moment. Lap 13 now. Alvaro Carreton moves past us. We have recharged our battery quite a fair bit.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
In the past few laps. And yeah, now we're gonna go into the box at the end of this lap. Alvaro Carreton ahead of us on the mediums. No one else seems to be on the softs on the rest of the grid, so yeah. Lots of different strategy, hard, mediums, us on softs, taking a big risk. And yeah, softs are absolutely done at this point. We're gonna go for a fresh set of hards. Initially, I was thinking about doing soft medium, but yeah, our pace was so bad that I felt like the harder compounds might be the better one. And into the box we go. I have to slow down. Alvaro Carreton boxing as well from the mediums. Lucas Blakely boxing. And Nicolas Longier, Fred Rasmussen as well, actually. So lots of people coming in. Even though they started on the hards or mediums.
The team will be hoping they can get back into action as fast as possible, so they don't lose too much time from this stop.
Yeah, probably expecting that the rain is going to come early as well. Same strategy as us, they just started on the different tires. And now we're coming out in P15. Lucas Blakely disconnected actually there, as you could see. And yeah. That means he's basically out of the race. You can see he's like 7-8 seconds behind us. Maybe even more, maybe 10. I'm not sure. But for some reason, the race directors thought it was a brilliant idea to manually put out a virtual safety car. Yes. You're seeing that right. A virtual safety car in F1 Esports. The most ridiculous thing I have seen in the 15 races I've done in F1 Esports. They thought that if they put out a VSC while Lucas is disconnected and tries to rejoin, would help him save his race. Which obviously it doesn't, because he's still going to be 10 seconds behind. And yeah, Lucas is rejoined now, but half the grid, the race is ruined at this point, because, including mine, because the other half of the grid is going to get a free pit stop at this point. And yeah, that's would perhaps be fine if you're still out on track at this point without having made a pit stop, because you have fresher tires towards the end. But we cannot catch up anymore. We are going to be on all the tires, on the hards, while the rest of the grid is going to be on a lap fresher tires, either mediums or hard. So yeah, our race is ruined as we go and restart. Virtual safety car ending. We got a 10-second time penalty for speeding, even though we did not speed, because our delta was green when the virtual safety car ended. But yeah, nonetheless, I was already raging well before that, because, yeah, as you can see, I just retired straight away, kind of out of protest, because, in my opinion, this is, yeah, just fixing a race, manually putting out a VSC, knowing, or perhaps not even knowing, because whoever made the decision probably doesn't quite understand what they're doing, just ruining half the grid of the race. You could see Freddie, I think, was leading. Nicolas Longa was up there as well, together with Josh Idowu. They're gone. Their race is over. Freddie in P6 on all the tires and the rest of the grid. Yeah, he's gonna have a very long race from here. And yeah, Alfie Butcher leading now. He's actually behind us at the start, but yeah, if you just box under the VSC, you're gonna gain so many positions. And I think Ulas actually played quite a nice team game as well, holding up the rest of the grid. So yeah, a bit of team game going on there as well, which was obviously really smart, helping him win this race. But yeah, this is just incompetence from, yeah, the people high up. I said this in the interview after the race as well, that whoever made this decision don't quite understand what is going on, what they're doing, what the consequences are. Now obviously in real life, a VSC or a safety car has the same consequences, but the whole point of a VSC or a safety car is safety. If someone crashes, it's a safety concern. That's not a thing in esports. You cannot decide strategies or race wins manually in an equal car esports championship. It's just not how it works. And yeah, I got a 3-place grid penalty as well for, yeah, criticizing the race director's decisions. After this race, VSC was disabled forever due to my outrage and other drivers' outrage, of course, because yeah, a lot of people, their races got ruined. And yeah, you can see Lucas, obviously his race was over as well. You cannot recover from a disconnect. So yeah, Freddie Rasmussen going from fighting for the win to dropping to P8. At the end of the day, I'm happy actually it happened in this race and not on a track that I put a lot of effort in. If you're driving all 6 tracks, as I said, you cannot be perfectly prepared for every single one of them. So yeah, the fact that it happened here for us on this track where I did not practice a lot, yeah, is great for us. Also, the fact that Red Bull got completely shafted by this, and yeah, a big point finish for them got kind of frauded away with this virtual safety car decision. But yeah, we're gonna have a 3-place grid penalty for the next race then, because I criticized this publicly. Again, quite questionable decision making in my opinion. I think in the end of the day, we all the drivers live in a relatively free country, and you can give your opinions. And it is the truth. In the end of the day, a race kind of got decided by a single person's, yeah, kind of incompetence. So it is what it is. And in the day, we were lucky with it. As I said, we if there was a race I wanted it to happen, something like this, I would have chosen this one probably. Especially with the bad strategy I chose, with the bad setup. It did start raining in the last lap, but not enough for intermediates. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video nonetheless. We're gonna try and bounce back in the next race. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.